Okay, you're streaming.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Specialized Learning Curriculum Subcommittee. It is February 15th, 5:05 p.m. I am joined by board members Mary Ellen Flaherty Ludwig, Ashley Gullius, and Executive Director of Specialized Learning, Bridget Adams, and her team, and some guests this evening, which I will allow her to introduce. And we have Jen Steiner with us as well. Thank you from the community. And I will just continue and send it right over to you, Bridget, so we can start up.
Thank you so much, Janine. Good evening, members of the board. Ms. Steiner, thanks so much for joining us. We're so happy you're here. The first person I'd like to introduce this evening is Stephen Angelo. He has joined our department as Special Education Administrator. He will be working with Nathan Hale Middle School, West Rocks Middle School, and Wolf Pit Elementary School. And I shouldn't say will be, he absolutely is. He jumped in the very first day. He has already initiated change in the district for the better. He is such a great addition to our team, and we're so grateful that he has joined us. So welcome, Stephen.
Nathan Hale, Wolf Pit, and where? I'm sorry?
West Rocks.
West Rocks. Thank you.
Yes, and he's just joining us to hang out today. He's joining me as a member of the team this evening, and I'm so grateful. He's also a Norwalk resident, so he's also a community member, which is very important to us. And so welcome, Stephen.
Thank you.
Also, of course. Also joining us tonight is one of our district assistive technology specialists, Angela Rinaldi. She'll be presenting about all things assistive tech and universal design for all students. So we're really excited about that. And we're incredibly pleased and honored to welcome Leona Adamczyk.
There you go.
Yes, I was practicing. Forgive me.
Perfect.
She joins us from CPAC, from the Connecticut Parent Advocacy Council.
Center. Yep, center.
Hey, center.
Yep.
All right. It's been a long day, everyone. Thanks for bearing with me. And Leona, thank you so much for joining us. She is going to talk with us this evening about advisory councils. In some districts, they're called SEECs or SEAC. In other places, SpEd PAC. We've known ours in the past to be SpEd PAC for Norwalk Special Education Advisory Council. And we're going to talk about those in an overview and info session led by Leona this evening, certainly with the intention to have follow-up engaging conversations as we move to defining and naming our membership with the hope to have our first meeting next month. So without any further ado, I am going to share our presentation this evening. Can everybody confirm with some nonverbal information that you can see this? Excellent, very good. So welcome everyone. Welcome to the folks out in the community who are joining us this evening through YouTube or watching this in a rerun. We are so grateful that you are here and part of our conversation. I've outlined our 2 agenda items, and we always start our conversations with reminders of what we believe in the specialized learning department. And this is so important to us as we do the work to ensure that special education is always a service and never a place. We share our vision of specialized learning, which is, of course, that of the district, and the mission as well. So in the interest of providing excellent and equitable education to all in partnership with all of our stakeholders, Leona, I will pass this conversation over to you. And if you just say next slide or go ahead, I'll be your presenter.
Perfect. So she said, Bridget started, we are Connecticut Parent Advocacy Center. We are not advocates. It's in our name. We know sometimes people can view advocacy negatively, but that's not what we are. We're supportive, collaborative for everyone, both parents, community members, and teachers to be able to collaborate together toward a mission of the children. So we can go ahead forward. Yep. So we are Connecticut's federally funded Parent Training Information Center under IDA. There's at least one per every state. Connecticut only has one based on its size. We are it. We're celebrating 40 years and we're very excited about that. We also partner in Connecticut's federally funded statewide family engagement grant through the Connecticut Family School Partnerships, and that's with CREC, and it's with other members, the State Department, et cetera. And then the mission, just like you stated yours, our mission for CPAC, which is really important for us to bring to you, is to educate, support, empower Connecticut's diverse families of children and youth with disabilities, chronic conditions, ages birth to 26, and then the professionals who serve them. So I think it fits right in with your specialized learning department and mentality in Norwalk. Go ahead to the next slide. These are just some of our partners I did mention. So we do have membership or contracts with the Office of Early Childhood. I personally sit on the Advisory Council for Connecticut's Birth to 3. We have people who sit on the Advisory Council for the state special education, the SAC, the Special Education Advisory Council. We have contracts with the DS Act I work on as a member to help collaborate those families, because they know at birth that they're going to have a different need and how to navigate some of that. And then, like I said, the family engagement. And then, of course, the State Department is a huge, huge backer. And we work with them from training to professional development for districts down to parent support. You can go ahead. So most importantly, why am I here and what is a SEAC and all the different words that are used tonight? I'm going to call it a SEAC. It is a Special Education Advisory Council in some shape or form. It is a local advisory council. It's a diverse group of stakeholders who advise the district leadership on matters that pertain to education, inclusion, and safety of students with disabilities. Its purpose is to advise and offer guidance, not to decide policy. And the SEAC's main function is to provide direct input to school district leaders about policies, program practices, and services that have an impact on students with disabilities and their families. You can go to the next slide. This is straight from this Connecticut's definition of family engagement. And this is family engagement is a full, equal, and equitable partnership. And I know you guys already use these words today, so you're right on page with us, among families, educators, and community partners, which is really important because we often, sometimes when we talk about it, it's that community partners as well to promote children's learning and development from birth through college and career. We added this slide because we really wanted to define what a SEAC is and what it's not. And it's nice sometimes to have those side-by-side comparisons. So a SEAC is a parent-led and district-supported group. It is not an extension of the Board of Education or any of its subcommittees. It is an advisory group who advises those decision makers. It is not a governing group that makes policies. It is a group that collaborates and works on systemic issues. It is not a group that discusses personal and individual cases. It is a formal working group that identifies unmet needs and priority areas for systemic improvements. It is not a support group. And this is really key in defining how it can be successful. So advisory versus governing. Advisory groups provide guidance rather than governance. Advisory groups do not set policy, which we talked about, but they may make recommendations regarding the policy. So you might have something that comes out, you might want to have a couple of members or the whole board read over. That's okay to do. Advisory groups give recommendations which serve to complete the knowledge and skills of the formal board members as they make decision regarding related policy within your district. Sorry. I keep waiting for questions, and they're going to be right at the end of my slides, so I apologize. I'm just used to that. The advisory work of the SEAC, they're going to review and give
Leona?
feedback. Yep.
Leona, if you're used to that, I have one right now.
Sure. Go ahead.
When you say you advise, I think of the kindergarten rule policy right now that the state's putting forth. There's so many people advising the state to, take a second. Are you part of the group saying, let's do it in a staggered way? Are you thinking we should delay 1 year? What is your group recommending at this point?
So CPAC does not take a lobby stand on anything, because we are funded by Congress, so we can't. But special education advisory councils, they can advise a district on how they feel about it. We would love to have regional eventually, and so that we can then group some together and then work on more state level, where that work would be done from literally the grassroots people. I think about dyslexia because my son, one of my kiddos, has it, and we were benefits of those grassroots campaigns back then. So if you kind of think about some of that from that perspective, but CPAC would not give a stance on that.
And I think with the re-energizing of our district advisory council,
Correct.
Mary Ellen, we would seek that input and information from our advisory council about how we do work in that regard as it pertains specifically to special education. So that kindergarten question is such a big one. It impacts every student, not just students with disabilities, but we do play a role in it. And interestingly, with special education, and I know we certainly have this on our to-do list to add to a subcommittee topic, services for individuals with disabilities happen at the turning of age 3. And so regardless of what the state decides around kindergarten start, we will continue to provide FAPE for every individual 3 through 5 and before and after kindergarten.
You might identify a couple more kids, but you wouldn't see a huge increase due to that birth to 3 transition, right? But I can say what advisory councils can do is I sit on one, speaking of birth to 3, we have given testimony, personal testimony from a standpoint of that advisory council on behalf of the Office of Early Childhood, because Office of Early Childhood can't lobby for themselves. So, I mean, those are things that can be done. Parents can bring things, whether it's to a board or to a higher level. CX in other states, some states like Massachusetts, these are actually required. At this time, it is not in Connecticut, but Newark is still ahead of the curve because you are one of our pilot districts. So you've actually already been approved by the board to have this. So we're really just revamping and revising and re-energizing it. And so it really is exciting because that happens. And especially when you guys were one of the first 3, and we really appreciate that at the time and that you still see the value of it. So we can go to the next slide. So what's next? I keep stuttering tonight. I do apologize. The Board of Education vote, but that's already been done for you guys, and agree to review and consider advisory reports from the SEAC. Again, the board has already agreed because that happened a while ago. So you're like I said, all these steps ahead, but we want to re-energize it. So CPAC will provide technical assistance and resources. And we did when you guys started and through all of changes and things that went on. I remember I personally was part of a group that came out and you guys wanted to put together like opportunities for parents and teachers to be able to have a place to speak openly about their concerns. And we helped you navigate those things. That's what we're here for. To have those difficult conversations if needed, or to have those great conversations as they come. We want to be able to recognize both. So parents, go ahead. Oh, go back for just 1 second, because I do want to say that parents on the CEAC are invited also to join CPAC's Parent Leaders Roundtable, which is actually newer, because you guys were one of the original pilot districts. Now we have a Parents Leader Roundtable for the state, where we invite all the parents who join these advisory councils. It's run by Jen Lucier. I attend when I can or needed, but we to support all parent leaders in Connecticut. So it's a great opportunity that you guys might be in Norwalk, and regionally you might be down there, but maybe you're talking to someone that's up in Tallins, SEAC, or something like that. And it just gives you great other perspectives for your parents. So go ahead. We're going to go right. Alone we can do it little, but together we can do so much. And I do like that quote. And I do think that Norwalk has proved that by coming back and saying, help us get these legs back and going, because we know that even during a difficult time, this provided us a great venue. So now let's go. We're in a different place. Let's go even further. So I'm going to leave it at that and ask if anybody has any questions or anything that I can answer.
Thank you so much. And before we do jump into questions, I just want to acknowledge that our partnership with CPAC is so valued. When SpEd PAC was beginning, Jen, I believe you're a founding parent. Yes, yes. And
I don't know how that happened.
Purpose?
I don't know how
perfect timing. Look at that. She has like background glitter.
That was fantastic.
I don't know how
figure
that
out
happened. I did not do that. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there.
It was fantastic. I was so excited that Jen was joining us tonight, because she was one of those founding members of SpEd PAC when we were getting it off the ground. And in addition to that work, and some of our other founding members still have young people in our schools, so I'm hoping that they're hearing us on the wire tonight. There are so many families that are interested in joining this council. And it was one of my strong beliefs that we needed to start it again. I think in reflection, I would have preferred to have gotten this started sooner, but we know there's a lot of work to do, right? And we're here now, and that is what matters, because we're going to move forward together.
And I do think one of the things to remember is that you don't start where you left off. You're not going to start, you guys, because you've already started, you can relook at your bylaws, say, this worked for us, this didn't work for us. We have this now, we don't need this process. It's really, I'm from Rocky Hill, which was one of the other founding, original. And it was before I worked for CPAC. So I've totally done this on the family side before coming here, and it was at the same time you guys were going through it. And I know we've had to make changes, because what we are now is not what, we were sitting down with our pieces of paper then, and it's okay to have those changes. We've had so much leadership. We've had,
so much has changed since then.
We've had COVID.
Right, exactly. And in large part, some of those changes are the reason we need to re-energize now, and that things did fall by the wayside.
Yes, exactly. And so we want to get those feet and going. So,
and another element of what we did with CPAC in conjunction was the parent training about the PPT process, and all of the special ed supervisors joined that training. I think it was 6 Wednesdays in the winter, I remember.
It was 8 Wednesdays.
8, yes. I would love to revisit that. I'm working really closely with our partners at CPAC also in support of our special ed administrators. They're coming in to do training for our admin team. It's just a wonderful partnership. And I want to return to the beginning of your presentation. The word advocate is incredibly important to us. We don't see advocate as adversarial. We are advocates also. And it's always my hope that if my team is advocating appropriately, that a family doesn't ever need to feel a fight. And when the fight is the sense, we are doing our level best to round the corners of our table, because we don't believe there are sides. We are all in this powering together in service of the child. And so it's with that in mind that we re-energize CPAC, and I'm just so excited. So now I'm going to stop for questions.
Can I just say something real quick? Sorry. I just want to second CPAC about all they do. I'm actually on that parent leader roundtable, and like Leona said, I try to get to it when I can, but it's sometimes it's hard, and but it's a great resource And like Leona said, it's nice to like connect with people who are not in Fairfield County and to see how other districts are working. And another thing about CPAC that I'm a part of, it's the family connections. I don't know.
That's our little kid program.
That's our
I call
baby
it our little kid program. I probably shouldn't, but it is for our it's
No.
Family Connections is for our birth to 3 kind of range, birth to 5. And it's good. That's great. So she works as a mentor. Yes. Are you working as a mentor?
Yeah. So I was gonna say it's so nice because when I was done with birth to 3 and when we first got our diagnosis, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have obviously any friends that had gone through it. And this just like Vanessa Pollock, she's the one who runs it. She'll just email me and say, hey, here's a mom or a family with a 2-year-old with autism. Can you talk to them? I'm like, yeah, because I've been through it. And I just think that's so nice to just be able to connect with someone who's going through it, who like when you first get your diagnosis, like, what do I do? Okay, I cried. Now what? Let's get them help. And it's so nice that you can be that voice. And I think I've reached out to probably 7 or 8 families. Not all of them return your message, but I feel like you text them and you email them and you do your best. Some people just don't, want to follow through, but some people I have like really talked through and let them know about outside services for your kid. Just because the school district gives you services, which is great, you can also connect with other places, in your community to also do it. So it's really,
Jen, I'd love to talk about replicating that in district. So families who have students in elementary, middle, and high can connect with families who are coming in at any, at the level. We'll talk about that and create that. That sounds fantastic.
It's a great idea. It's awesome.
Thanks.
And that sounds very powerful.
Sounds great.
It is.
Really and that is one of our programs with the Office of Early Childhood. So we do love it. This is data that I'm personally excited about because I'm going to ask Jen after this to share her story at our family day for the ICC, because it is one of their connections, one of their paid things. We love to give that data back. But does anybody have questions about NORAC, SpEd? I'm sorry, I'm going to say it wrong.
It was SpEd.
SpEd. Okay.
And we have started when we started it, we do have our own Google account that we kept all of our bylaws and agendas and minutes on. And I'm trying to get back into it. It has been a couple of years. So I'm trying to figure out who has that phone number to recover it. But once I do get it recovered, Bridget, I'm more than happy to share it with you.
Thank you.
Because I think it was Yvette was the last person that we had it with. So I think
Deirdre may have access, and that's really
might have access to
our next step. So we'll share it back to you. And from this conversation is this info session for subcommittee and of course for the community. The next step is engaging the group of parents who want to be part of the council. And in some towns, the interest is so great that they've had to conduct lotteries for attendance in these councils. And so that is my vision of a great problem.
Yeah.
and I think it's important to understand too, is that, right, it has to have at least 51% parents. You want to go revisit how many you're going to have based on how many, successfully attend, from other partners and things like that. But that's like next steps, right? That's where we go from here. And that if you have to go to the application process, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's still an open meeting that anyone can come to.
Yes.
And so I've, just like this is, so we'll put that out there as well.
Right.
But if nobody
Ashley
does someone have questions?
I apologize if I missed the timeline. I'm in a fog today, but when was the original group started, and like how long has it been since it's really been active?
We started
2019.
August of 2019 is when we first got it going. And then I would say the last known 2022, I think, was our last. It was May of 2022 because at that time I had stood on the exec board every year and my life was getting a little crazy and I needed a break to step down from the exec board.
That's not all on you, Jen.
Right.
There was a change.
It was a lot. But
Yeah.
then that was our biggest problem, is no one wanted to step up to be the exec board. And we tried to get young families involved because we had a lot of high school families, and nothing wrong with the high school families. That young blood was all thirsting for, like, you know, who haven't been through that and want to learn and help fight. Like, there was a couple of us, me included, still had babies, we call them. That was one of the things the parent table was really great at. Like, how do I get more people involved in our SpEd pack, because it's a great resource, you know? So that was one of the things about that parent, connect with them and see what they did. And
So really, they've had 1 year. This would be they had 1 year off. But
Yeah.
Bridget and Deidre have been working with CPAC all through this year to kind of get us here and get it removing. So I don't think you've had a big gap at all.
No.
Enough where it's refreshing.
Right. Yeah. Our last meeting was May of 2022. So it's not horrible.
No, not at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen, for being here to answer that, because I knew when it was created, but that was it.
Leona,
Oh, go ahead, Mary Ellen.
just a general question. In what way on the board could we help you advertise this or share the information, or is there another role besides that we encourage you to do this?
I think that in some towns, from a board perspective, I can share that a board member cannot be a voting member, right, on it or on the board per se. But some towns do have board members who come out to the meetings just to take in the information and meet the people. And as from that community kind of perspective. And it's always rewarding to those families that are there to have that, because it also can provide a different view, right? You can say, geez, we just had budget season. Well, what does budget season mean? What does that entail, right? We all might make a home budget, but it's not a Board of Ed budget, and it doesn't go to town council and then get denied and come back, $2 million shorter. But, so what does it mean? What does that mean? So those are ways sometimes that boards can provide some information, but the biggest thing is to invite them and to listen. This way they can feel like what they're doing is meaningful, even if it's just learning about, they do analysis of Norwalk and from their perspective, what the strengths are and the weaknesses and things like that. And then, just to hear it, just to be heard will keep people coming.
And we would love to have you.
Okay, so do let us know.
Absolutely.
I can certainly share that with my other board members that might not even be on this committee.
Yeah, it sounds like we should certainly share this in our subcommittee report at our next meeting.
And before that, I will create some type of invitation or flyer that we'll be sending out to all families with individuals with disabilities. We'll blast that through Parent Square, and we'll use our other methods of invitation to reach our families. And then I'll share that with you, Ashley, Janine, and Mary Ellen, so that in your report, if you'd like, you could share that invitation as well.
And then just to that as well is that which I know that Jen has sent to you, some of them, my coworker, but she, we can get you other things as well. Don't ever reinvent the wheel. We might have things with links and things like that. So always reach out to us. And that's what we're here for, right? We want to make it as easy as possible. We want to support your families. We want to provide your families with opportunities to be leaders, not only in the community, but within the state. The great time and opportunity to highlight Norwalk.
Thank you so much.
Well,
Leona,
thank you guys so much for having me.
Taking time out of your evening for us, and we're just truly grateful. You're welcome to stay and learn from Ange about all of the really cool tech tools that she's going to introduce, or you could always watch the recording after. We're truly grateful. We'll be in touch real soon.
We look forward. I really, really look forward to it, and then helping you guys through your next steps. So
thanks so much.
You.
We'll talk soon. We're going to shift gears now, and Angela, it's about 5:34, so we're on target. We're doing really well.
Okay.
I asked Angela to join us. She recently provided the district with a presentation over at the Family Center for all aspects and elements of her work. And there are so many avenues that she follows to impact our students and our students' access. This is just but one of so many things that she does for us, together with her partner, Jess Horvath. And what I look forward to is in receiving the public comments, responding. And while perhaps not this evening in this forum, together, Angela and Jess and I will be in touch with every family who's reached out with questions about assistive technology. So I look forward to that. And Angela, I'm gonna practice my assistive tech skills this evening as well.
Okay, sounds great. Hi, everyone. It's nice to be here and demonstrate the wonderful tools that Norwalk has available to all students. Hit the next slide. Thank you. And one of the things that we as a district, and not just specialized learning, is to provide a universal design tools and strategies so that all students have access right from the get-go. So I always say, and I've been a special ed teacher for a long, long time, and I always say that if you design from the extreme, for the extremes, you always hit the middle. Instead of just designing for the middle, you never hit those extremes. And it's so important to do this, and you will hit everyone. Okay, next slide, please. Diversity is a fact, equity is a choice, inclusion is an action, belonging is an outcome. I'm going to focus more so on equity. Next slide, please. So universal design at its best. Norwalk has the most amazing tools. We've had them for, well, this is our 5th year now, and they're just getting better and better. We work very closely with the company that provides these tools, and they're just amazing. I have taught this, I can't even tell you how many times, and it's always so exciting every time I do, because it's going to reach someone and it's going to help someone. And it's just, I see it every day. And I always say, this is not even a job for me. I get so excited. So you'll see it and you'll get excited too. So there are so many strategies to level the playing field. So what we want to do is that when every student walks in a room, they're going in due to different strategies and different tools, coming in at a level playing field to have equal access. Okay. So, and there was one thing on there that remove the barriers first. Okay. So universal design for learning is a teaching approach that works to accommodate the needs and abilities of all learners and eliminates unnecessary hurdles in the learning process. So what we're trying to do is not have to say, okay, well, they had difficulty here, let's now bring this in. We want to put these tools in right from the get-go, train everyone on them so that the students use the different tools that allow them to feel confident, to access the curriculum as the best that they can. Okay. Okay. Why is universal design important? Students come to learning with a variety of skills, interests, and abilities. Universal design for learning provides a blueprint for providing instruction and supports to all students. It is not a single design, but multiple access points to all components of learning. Okay, so access is the key. The 4 types of learners in education include visual, auditory, reading, writing, and kinesthetic. It's important to develop lesson plans to help all the different types of learners absorb the information in a way that fits their individual needs. All students fall into one or more of these learning styles. Okay, so this is, I saw this a few months ago, and I know many of you have seen this. This to me says it all. On the first picture, the students, the children are each have the same accommodation, all standing on a box, and not all of them can access, not all of them can see the game. In the second picture, there are different accommodations set for each student, but, and that's fine. However, we could start from the beginning and provide a chain link fence, and there will be no need for an accommodation. It's just a strategy. Okay. A level playing field gives everyone an equal chance to shine. All right. So you can pass through this because I'm going to go right into the tools. Okay. And I'm going to share my screen. Whoop, I hit the wrong
Pause
one.
for a technological interlude. We need to swap screens.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, you share.
All righty. So as
It's
I'm going to
not
share.
sharing. Oh, there we go. Perfect.
This is a big montage of mumbo jumbo, right? So this is a website that talks about alligators and crocodiles. And I always show this one because I just came back from Florida and this is, I saw one. So now, if you look at this, now I'm going to show you, we have 3 programs. We have Co-Writer, we have Snap and Read, and we have Word Bank Universal. Now, these are extensions that are attached to every student in this district and every staff member in the district that has a Norwalk Public School email. So if you look up at the top, the extensions are the first 3. Co-Writer, Snap and Read, and Word Bank. Now, again, every student has these. So this is how it works. I just went to a website. They work, we're going to start with Snap and Read. Snap and Read will work with any electronic document, whether it's a book on PDF, whether it's a website, whether it's a research paper, whether it's a Google Doc. Now watch this. This is how it goes. First thing I'm going to do, now a student that goes to a certain website, they're learning about alligators and crocodiles. This is a lot, right? This is a lot of information. It's just ads jumping in and out. Watch this. Boom. We just eliminated all of the distractions. And if you notice, most people always center in the middle of the page. We now have margins large enough so that they can just focus on the middle. Now, the next tool. Now I'm going to turn the tool on. So again, they're all in the extension bar. Okay, so it just came back. So I need to remove again. Now, here we go. On the right-hand side, can everyone see the tools? Just give me, okay,
Yes, I can see them.
Okay, great. Okay, so these are the tools. They're very simple and there's only a few, but they're very powerful. So here it goes. On the first tool is the text-to-speech, which is one of the biggest universal design tools needed for all students if they choose to use it, if they need it. It is wonderful for students that have auditory processing, that do better with sound and not reading by themselves and have that read to them. It's great for individuals that with dyslexia. I work very closely with Dr. Moore with all of these programs, and so I provide the tech part, and then we're always just working together on this. So here we go. I'm going to turn on that. When it's blue, it's on.
All alligators and crocodiles belong to a taxonomic order called Crocodilia. Crocodilia is then...
Did you all hear that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you can start and stop wherever you would like. You don't need to just play the whole thing. You can just click on and click off. Now, the next one is a screenshot reader. And look, it's not going to do it. Go back.
It was doing it, Ange.
It's usually so this actually allows you to select a passage. Now, for instance, if you had a math paper on the screen, you can highlight just the question or the scenario, and it plays it to the student. This is where the breakdown could happen with a student that may be really good in math, but when the language piece comes in, they might have difficulty. So that part, that's used for that. The next tool will take the entire document, and it will take all of the vocabulary, all of the words that are difficult, and change the level. Change the word to a easier word, a synonym that means the same, that is easier for them to understand. So if you look at the screen, for some reason, it's not letting me do it tonight. I think we're in a...
All alligators and
Okay, try it again. I think we're frozen. Let me just come out for a sec. I was doing that before today. All right, so this thing right here is timing out. But that's what this does. So this will change the actual words and give you an easier word. I'm going to click on this word here. I think I'm frozen. I'm going to have to come out. I'm so sorry. I have to come out and go back in, because if you notice my cursor, it has a little frozen piece. So I'm going to stop here for a sec, and just really quick, because I really want everyone to see this. Oops, not sure. And then I'm going to go back in and turn this off. Oh,
Assistive tech also supports the practice of frustration tolerance.
Yeah, it keeps doing that, but I'm going to go back in really quick. See if I can grab another.
Angela, did I understand you saying that we all have access to this? I mean, I had no idea.
Yes, we do, and it's amazing. And you know, that's the one piece that. Let me just make sure I have you guys. Okay. Cool. Okay, here we go. Let's try it again. I'm going to go to this page. Okay. Yes. And that's the one piece so I go around and I work in classrooms, I train schools, faculty, you name it. And we have a lot of great technology coaches going around and doing the same. Let me see if I can do this again. Hopefully it won't be frozen. Okay. You can all see this? I'm going to go in and I'm going to take this, remove the distractions. Okay. So I think we're good. Now I'm going to, this is where you can choose just the area. You click on it and let go. And it will read it. So it's thinking.
What's the difference between an alligator vs crocodile?
Okay. The next one, if everyone can stare at the screen, is going to change. See it? So what it did was it took all the difficult words and it put together a simpler word. And then a student can do that and then go and listen to it after that.
What's the difference between a large reptile vs crocodile?
Okay, so the next one, this is cool. I'm going to pick a word. Opportunistic. It gives you the definition, and you can copy it, make a study sheet, and watch this.
Taking immediate advantage, often unethically.
It will read it. Amazing. The next one will translate into about 100 different languages, which is great. We utilize this as well in many of the classrooms. Now, remember this. This is the old, put this on the top of the book. They have it here. Now watch this.
What's the difference between an alligator vs crocodile? If you've ever visited the Sunshine State, you can't miss them.
Okay.
No, we're
Wow.
Amazing. So
Yeah.
Here's a real cool piece. Now we go into the bottom. I have 4 minutes left. I got to go fast. We go into this spot. We pull this out. There are, oh, I'm going to go here first. I can take notes. I can highlight, let go. And now all my notes are going over here. It even gives us the source. Look at this. There's the source.
Oh,
Yeah. The next one, I can go to my 3 dots up here. I can find, these are graphic organizers. I'm going to go in. I'm going to grab an essay, 5-paragraph essay. These are all the components needed for a 5-paragraph essay. Say you were writing about alligators and crocodiles. This is all that you need. Now, I'm going to go quick because I'm going to pull up the next really important program with it. Now watch this because it's going to fly in. I'm going to open up a Google Doc because now I'm ready to write my essay. Here it comes. They're coming in. There it is. Now I have my Google Doc. I'm going to turn on my co-writer. Here's my thing. Down below, let me just move this. Now down below are my words. We utilize these if we're not sure what word to use. We have the ability to, once we start typing, word prediction pops up, what they think I might say. Also, you can even put topics in the word prediction boxes. You can put the word prediction box down here, or you can pull it up right here. Now, I now have this. I have my Google, my graphic organizer. I have my new Google Doc. So now I've got all my ideas on the right. I've got my word prediction on the left. I can now use 3 input methods. I can type. I can use my word prediction just by hovering over the word and clicking on it. This helps with spelling. It helps with elaborating in our text, getting our thoughts on the paper. And we also have voice to text. Watch this. I'm not going to talk about alligators. I'm just going to say, my name is Angela Rinaldi. I am an assistive text specialist for Norwalk Public Schools.
My name is Angela Rinaldi. I'm an assistive text specialist for Norwalk Public Schools.
It is 99% on the money, and I'll tell you why. Because the person that, Don Johnston, that started this program, could not read or write until he was 12 years old. All of these tools were based on difficulties he had, and he made it so that this voice to text, voice recognition and voice to text tool, it can read dialects, can read students that might have difficulty speaking. It really, really hones in on what they're trying to say, and it's pretty accurate. And if you notice, the words that need to be capitalized are capitalized. Some are a little off here. But after a student types everything they need in this document, they can now go back. Oops, I think I just shouldn't have done that. They can now go back and they can listen to it by placing their cursor right in front, clicking on the speech.
My name is Angela Rinaldi.
The speech to text. So I think I took off a little bit of that. But now they have the ability to they can't lose their papers because it's all right here. It always saves. Again, just an amazing tool that every student has. And what we want to do as the Department of Specialized Learning is to bring this into every classroom so that when kids come in the start of that school year, they have access to these tools. They're up in the extension bar and they have access to these tools. So if they need them and if they're having trouble accessing the curriculum, these tools are there. They're amazing. I can't say enough. They've helped so many kids. Oh, that's me. Does anyone have any questions? I'm going to stop sharing for a minute.
I love that you set yourself a timer, Ange. You did great. I'm not going to go back to our presentation, given the time, and we'll just open the conversation if that sounds fair. Thank you so much, Ange.
You're welcome.
I don't really have any questions, but it just seems so amazing, everything that we have going on that you've done, the programs that are going on. It's just technically wonderful to see this going on and having these advancements happening.
Yes, I've been in many districts, and even being in Florida and teaching in Florida, we've got it here. We've got an amazing, just an amazing team that the IT department supports us. They get these extensions whitelisted so that every time a student goes in and logs in, now they can use these programs at home. It doesn't matter what computer they're in, they just log in and it's right up there in their extension bar. So as long as they have the NPS extension.
Angela, how do you instruct the general teachers to share this with the class? Is it shared, everybody learns how to do it? Is that how you approach it?
Because I do, yeah.
It would be helpful to everybody. But how do you approach just a regular classroom that's going to have multi talents, multi abilities in their classroom?
So matter of fact, I just did this yesterday. I went in and went to a 4th grade classroom. We had all 4th grade classes come into one room, and I had all the kids bring their Chromebooks, made sure they had the extension. That was the number one thing, and showed them how. If they didn't, teachers were like, oh my gosh, this is great. And we'd go over them. We'd have a little fun. I'd have kids come up to the board and try out the voice to text. And it's just amazing. And we have so much fun doing it. So I not only do I teach individual students, but my goal is to start from the larger, like I'll teach the faculty, letting them know they have it, so that if they feel very comfortable with it, they can bring it in their class right away. I provide a variety of handouts, quick little cards for each tool, showing them if they can't remember what I've taught them, they can just go right to it. And then also, the company just for Norwalk made 5-minute bell instruction for each tool. So one day they might go over the text to speech for 5 minutes. The next day, which I would actually recommend, because they're not just having everything thrown at them. One tool one day, it lasts for like 7 days. They have all the tools, and it's wonderful. So I teach the faculty. I go in and teach classes, and individual students if they're still struggling or having difficulty with it, or they really truly have to have that text to speech, or having difficulty even working with individuals with dysgraphia, not being able to read the entire screen, and it's just coming into one. When you break down take those, add those margins, it's amazing. We have a few students that, it was a game changer for them. So, we're trying to really, and Bridget's been a great support, and everyone in the department. So.
Well, it sounds really, as Janine said, it's amazing. I'm wondering how many classrooms have you gone to? I mean, where are we? We're a pretty big district. Where are we in sharing this knowledge across the district?
So I'm working very closely with the tech coaches, and many of the tech coaches might have 3 schools. They'll go in there. I might go with them, or if I have Stephanie Dean, who's phenomenal, she goes in and teaches the entire school, and then she'll go into each classroom. So we've pretty much hit almost every school. But again, it can't just stop there. We have to then make appointments, have teachers say, this is our booking link. book me, to come into the classroom. And it's not just for ELA. It works in science. It works in social studies. It's so needed. Even it works with Google Classroom. You can put a document in Google Classroom, click on it, comes right into Snap and Read. So it's just amazing.
And Angela's been doing this work with these particular tools since about the inception of SpEd Pack. It was right about that time. She and I worked closely together to bring this to the middle schools when I was the middle school supervisor. And the value, then I think we were doing it on a smaller scale when you first realized that this needed to go to everyone and not just individuals through accommodations in 504s or IEPs. But this is tech tools are for everybody. And
Yeah, so you're saying since
2019, maybe before?
We did a demonstration. Rachel Davis and I did a demonstration for the paraprofessionals and behavior technicians, and they loved it. They were like, you need to come to the school because they want to support the kids. And this was like such a great tool. And even like one-to-ones, they want their child that they're working with or shared pairs or just the classroom pair. They want the kids, they want to be able to have a resource to help them access. What these tools do is they provide an independency to access the curriculum, and that equity and we talked a lot about this this year. Just having everyone have this access from the get-go makes them feel a part of the classroom. Everyone has different abilities, different styles, and we become one. And it's just amazing. So I can't stress enough how thankful I am to be able to have these tools here and to be able to share, because it's never ending. We have so much still to do, but I think we're getting there.
And I know it's 6 o'clock. I just want to say something to Angela. First of all, let me know when you're free. Jace's 5th grade class at Narramac. I'll talk to the teacher. I think they're not busy tomorrow about 9 a.m. I'll let her know. I'll text her. Second of all, what I really love about these, Angela, is I really want you to go to Narramac, first of all. But second of all, what I really love is that all these tools, if these kids know how to use them, I feel like the behaviors and the off-task behaviors that are so seen, because I don't know what to write about. I feel like they will decrease if the kids are like powerful to know, oh, I can just go to this and erase this. I think that would help with some classroom behaviors, and especially in the 5th grades right now. I know there's some issues because 5th grade-itis, and I think
squirrely time.
Really, I think it's really good that the kids start with 5th grade and work their way down so that they can do their own thing. So I know a lot of them use Google Classroom, and it's fine, but they don't know how to use any of these,
Yeah, and you're right. And I have seen that exactly what you said. I worked with a kid, and I know we have to go. I worked with a student that was typing. It took him 4 minutes to type 2 sentences. With word prediction, it took him 1 minute and 38 seconds. And with voice to text, 2 seconds.
And that confidence had to soar.
He was like
done. Great.
He was elated. It was just, so I see this every day, and that's what makes me excited to get up and bebop around at town and share. And
never mind get up in the morning, Angela. It's what brought you all the way up and back from Florida, right? We advocated to bring Angela back. It was one of my first moves was to begin recruiting her.
I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait. Bridget called me up one day and said, "Come on, let's go." I said, "We're
going back. We're going back, and we're going to do this work." And it was the work we started 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And Angela's back and cycling through, getting to everyone who's joined Norwalk since Angela was doing her first rounds. And truthfully, Jen, to your point, Angela lives the belief that when we can communicate and when we can access, we can act, right?
Yeah.
And it brings all the behavior down. and kids can engage and do school. And the success and the pride that comes from just being able to communicate needs and then express themselves with these tools, it just opens every door and it
Mhm.
shatters the ceiling. And we're not ever going to let go of Angela. Thank you
love
so
it. I'm
much
not
for
gonna-
presenting tonight.
Angela, you're the best. You're amazing. We love
Thank you so
No
much.
idea.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, and I'm really excited to see more things that we can do here. So thank you. Thank you for everything.
Well, I keep sharing all of the pictures of the work you're doing with communication devices. She's taken
Thank
the
you.
need for individuals to have communication devices and brought them to full classrooms.
Yeah.
Every
I don't-
child
I-
is communicating.
I don't stop. I don't
You're
stop
working on
till it happens.
So I look forward to that presentation in the near future to the
Thank you.
subcommittee as well. So thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank
Wow.
you, everyone. Thanks to Leona and Angela for presenting to us this evening. If no one has anything else, in motion to adjourn.
I would just say thank you to our interpreters as well.
Oh,
Thank you
yes,
so
thank
much.
you very much. Thank you as always, as always.
So moved to adjourn.
Thank you. We'll see you all next week or
See you
next
soon.
month.
Enjoy
Bye.
Mexico, Bridget.
Thank you. Come with
Another
me.
I'm
vacation.
jealous.
I'll bring back
Angela,
those cards.
It's good for you.
Angela, where were you in Florida?
I was in Bradenton, and right near Sarasota. It was beautiful, but
Right,
you know,
right. I just asked
missed
Gotta
because
come
I
home.
lived there for 20 years and
You did? Where did you live?
I had two places,